Today I wanted to talk about Juiced going out of business. So I bought a Juiced e-bike a couple years ago, and it's been a great bike. I really like the frame. It's super sturdy, and it did essentially everything I wanted it to do, but it had a couple of shortcomings. One of them was it didn't go super fast. It would go only about 20 miles an hour. It only had a 15 amp controller. Out of the box, and it was just a little slow. So I upgraded it, I modded it, and I really like the platform of Juice because they have just standard components like e-bike components. The batteries use XT60 connectors, so it's really easy to buy like different batteries for them or change them out if you want to. And I really like the platform just as they are. I mean, it's pretty cheap components in terms of shifters and stuff, but you get that with just about every e-bike. But I thought they were pretty cool. So I was a little sad to see them go bankrupt. But I got an email from Velowave, who they're the authorized reseller of Juiced e-bikes, I guess, at this point. So they're selling out the old stock. And they wondered if I wanted to be an affiliate. So I was like, yeah, sure. So I wanted to see actually if it was actually worth it to have an e-bike from Juiced Bikes now that they're out of business. Because you're going to get 6 months of support and that's it. So let's go take a look at it. So I've got a link in the description if you do want to help out the channel. It's my affiliate link for Velowave. And I just wanted to see like what if I would buy this type of bike. And I think the answer is yes. Actually, the answer is totally yes. If I didn't have my bike right now, I think I would buy the Hyper Scrambler too. I'm not super pumped about the rest of these. Let's take a look at them real quick and we'll look at the competition, kind of see where they are in terms of pricing. But if you're looking for an e-bike, especially around the holidays, like this is a great time to buy. There's a lot of sales going on right now. So let's check this out. So the Hyper Scrambler 2, this is the one that I think is a really good price, and you should definitely take a look at this one. $1,600. A lot of times when you're buying e-bikes online, they'll get you in shipping. $1,600, free shipping. Can't really get better than that. Now the Hyper Scrambler 2, it has a 35 amp hour controller. I don't think they call it out on this website. Let's take a look at the specs. No, they don't call out the controller. It's a 35 amp controller, which is a pretty good controller. And for when you're going 30 miles an hour, you need a controller that's halfway decent. So they call out two 15.6 amp hour batteries. And the way you want to take a look at this is when you have a battery, we want to calculate the watt hours. So because we're going to be burning anywhere from 25 to 30 watt hours per mile on an e-bike, especially like these cafe racer style e-bikes that we're taking a look at. Throttle only, I mean, it's pedaling's okay, but throttle only. We'll look at 30 watt hours per mile across the board on these e-bikes that we're taking a look at today, just to be standard. So if we have a 15.6 and we have two batteries, we have 31.2 watt hours worth of, we have 31.2 amp hours in our battery capacity. That's a big battery. And then if we just multiply that by our voltage, which is 52 volts in this case, we'll get our watt hours. So 1622 watt hours, we'll divide that by 30. So we can go, real range is about 54 miles if we're really on the throttle all the time. I can see us getting 60 plus mile range with this e-bike pretty easily. So has hydraulic disc brakes. We've got nice big tires. It comes with a street tires. So there's street tires right here, and hydraulic disc brakes, 180 millimeter rotors. So pretty standard there. And it's just a sweet looking e-bike, and it has full suspension, which is awesome. So for $1,600, you get an e-bike that can go 55 miles. It's got integrated turn signals. It's got a rear light. You got everything ready to rock and roll. It's got full suspension. Man, I wish my e-bike had full suspension. And I think this is a really good deal. Definitely go check it out. So first one I want to look at is this Ride One Up Rev 1. We're doing cafe style e-bikes just to stay on the same style. Yeah, we want the full suspension model. So $2,200. Full suspension comes with what? Comes with a 20 amp hour battery, 52 volts. So if we do, let's do the calculation again. We have a 20 amp hour battery. Let's multiply that by the 52 volts. That's 1,040 watt hours divided by 30. So we could go 34 miles, like 20 miles lower than the other one. So not as great. And the other one's way cheaper. So already I'm thinking, all right, I think the other one's going to be better. Does have rear suspension, does have fork, throttle, handlebar, stem, everything that you'd have on a bike. Okay. Has a rear light, doesn't have any blinkers either. So no blinkers. I definitely think the Hyper Scrambler 2 is better than the Rev 1. So let's take a look at electric bikes. So electric bikes actually can match it in terms of pricing potentially, but they don't really have like a cafe style. Let's just take a look at the XP. Like everybody loves the XP, right? For this one. It's a folding bike, and I always stay away from folding bikes. I tried one. The way the handlebar just comes up, it doesn't feel very rigid. I don't like this type of bike, but let's just take a look at it just for the sake of taking a look at it. Okay. Let's look at the features. It's got a 48 volt battery. How big is the battery? They don't tell you. Will they tell you? Okay. 500 watt hub motor. Ugh. Okay. So this is a not really in the same league at all. It's $1,000, but you're paying for 500 watt motor, tiny little battery. I don't even know how big the battery is. How big's the battery? I wish they'd just tell you. Battery's only 7 pounds. It can't be that big. Amp hours. They don't even list the battery size on here. Okay. Not really a fan of that. Let's take a look at the Wired Freedom. Wired Freedom made a big splash. Everyone was really excited about it. Let's take a look at the battery size. So it's got a dual battery up to 90 miles with a 3200 watt peak output. The reason why they say that is because of the controller. It's not necessarily the rear hub motor is not going to be a 3000 watt motor. It's the controller is going to go up to that. So they probably have like a 50 amp controller or something like that. Okay. We have front 60 volt 20 amp hour and a rear 60 volt 15 amp hour. Ugh. I don't love that because you're going to be using the 60 volt 20 amp hour first. It's really nice when they're the same size each so you can deplete them at the same time. You're going to have one battery fail potentially faster than the other. I'm not sure how they're doing their how they're balancing those two. That's a little strange to me. But they do have 35 amp hours on their bike. So let's take a look at the specs here. Where are their specs on this? Okay, so I don't really tell you a whole ton. Oh, let's do the calculation anyway. So they have and it's a 60 volt. So gonna give them 60 volt with 35 amp hours, 2100 watt hours. If we divide that by 30, this is 70 miles for the battery. Okay, this one's pretty crazy. So it's a $2,000 going 70 miles. I don't like the look of this as much as the other one, but I mean, you get decent value. Another one is the shipping. They do ding you on shipping here. It's a couple $100 for shipping. So if you want to pay $2,250, $2,300 for the bike, you're well over $2,000. To me, I still think this is a pretty attractive. I bet this is a 1,000 watt motor, maybe a 1,500 watt motor. Yeah, 1,500 watt geared hub motor. Yep, exactly. 1,500 watt geared motor and 3,200. Let's do the. If we do this backwards, 3,200 divided by 60 volts. So 53.3. I think it's a 50 amp controller. Is probably what they're looking at. So this is a 50 amp controller. So this is better, but it's also much more expensive. Let's take a look at the Billy Goat. This one's another one that's pretty close to what we're looking at as well. And these were kind of the ones that I was kicking around in my head when I wanted to purchase. And if this was around for $1,600, I would have purchased this instead of my Camp Scrambler, 100%. So they have a brushless direct drive motor. That's pretty cool and unique. I like that. And it has a 50 amp controller. also very cool. So you're going to get more pep out of this one, but it's going to cost more, right? This is going to be $2,600, and I don't know if they have shipping. So we'll have to see if they can free shipping on all orders. Okay, so $2,600 out of the gate. You do have to pay for tax and stuff, so it's going to be $2,800 once you're done. We're $1,200 over what this other one is. So I do think this is a good bike. It's got turn signals. It's got rear suspension. It's got everything you need. It's got fenders. Let's see. 60 volt, 25 amp hour battery. Let's calculate the range. 60 volt, 25 amps, 1500. So it's about the same as this other one, divided by 30, 50 miles. So this has a little less range than this one over here. Cool bike. So yeah, I think for the price, in my mind, let me know down in the comments if you found something a little bit better, but I think this is a really solid platform for $1,600. If you don't mind, only a 6-month warranty. That's all I want to talk about. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.